My name is Anya Harms, and this is my story. Throughout my life, many things have changed. My father left, my mother remarried, I moved. But one thing has remained the same. One place has always been there for me. The Glendale Cemetery in Des Moines, Iowa. Years ago, when things were simpler, my father took me there. We would ride our bikes for hours, feed the ducks, and watch the sunset on our way home. I remember one time I found a goose egg and picked it up, excited to show off my find. When we came back 2 weeks later, the egg was still there, rotting away, having been abandoned by its mother due to my meddling. It was there I learned not to fear death, but instead to embrace it as a part of life. After my father left, I would return to the cemetery alone, traversing the well-known paths, desperately searching for leftover happiness. Years later, in 8th grade, I remember making a friend named Noelle. I decided to trust her with this secret of mine, and, when we were hanging out, I took her to the cemetery. We walked there for almost an hour before she went home. Oddly enough, she never seemed too interested in hanging out with me again. Time passed, and I forgot the cemetery. I no longer went there to clear my thoughts, instead spending time with friends and investing in boys. However, near the end of second semester, I ran away. With my mother's screams still ringing in my ears, I breathlessly sprinted to where I felt safest. While a cemetery at night is not many's idea of safety, I felt right at home. I remember leaning against a gravestone, as offensive as that may be, and crying to the body that lay beneath me, begging to be free like they were. That night, I learned how foolish it is to walk 7 miles in socks, how terrifying it is to have a car of college men pull over and ask me if I want to ride, and how much stronger policemen are than I am. But I also learned that my grandfather loved me enough to take my picture to every gas station, fast food joint, and friend searching for me. I learned how scared my mother was as she drove through the cemetery hours after I'd left, sobbing as she searched for her daughter. And I learned how badly I missed my home after I had left. A cemetery may be an intimidating, depressing place for many, but for me, it was where I learned how to ride a bike, where I learned how to drive, and where I made my happiest memories with my father, and where I learned how to find myself.